Hey, we are live here in Jet Lending Studio. We are with Ehab, Rehab with Ehab on Instagram. He came back for the 20th. Can you believe it's been 20 episodes since you were here for the first one?
I can't believe you made it this long.
I know. This is his third appearance. And I asked Ehab if he would come back on the 20th episode. Maybe we'll make this a tradition of 10.
That sounds good.
Come back on every 10th anniversary.
Well, I'm pretty wordy, so I probably could think of things to say every time.
Yes, he can. He definitely can. Ehab, my voice is completely gone, so I'm going to let Ehab do most of the talking today. But I appreciate you coming, like always. Good friend, brother.
Yep.
Ehab has something very interesting to talk about. 10 mistakes that you can make on your road to investing in financial freedom, right?
Yeah. I mean, the top 10 mistakes real estate investors make and may not even realize they're making these, And I'm not going to just be talking about the obvious mistakes like overpaying for a property or not managing your contractors properly. I'm talking about the things that you may not even realize are sabotaging your financial freedom.
Okay. Well, let's. Do you have them listed out?
I do. I took notes this morning.
He did. He texted me this morning and said, "Hey, I need you to send an email out." And so I'm laying in bed feeding my baby, and I'm typing up an active campaign email. I was like, the boss said he wanted this done. I guess I got to get it done.
Well, it's important content, man. It's
Content. No, it's a very important. Every time you come on, it's very important content. Let's talk a little bit before we get started. This, how's your mentorship program going?
It's amazing. I have like 51 people in the program now. A lot of them are doing deals, and not only are they doing deals, but they're doing the right kind of deals that are allowing them to get to financial freedom, which I'm going to talk about today because I think it's important not only to, be doing good deals, but you got to be doing the right deals that are really going to help you achieve your goals.
So that's true. That's true. All of his students, we're about. Can I talk about it?
Sure. I don't know what you're going to say, but yeah.
The steak dinner.
Oh, okay, steak dinner.
So we're collaborating. We're going to invite some of the investors over to my house for steak dinner. I'm strategic in this.
Okay.
I want them to talk about their successes so that they could talk about it with my wife.
Oh, okay.
So you see where I'm going with it. Me and Ehab had a conversation yesterday, and we'll keep that to ourselves. But I want to further my career as well, and he's going to kind of help me out with this. But I've got some anxiety on my side of the family about how we get started, and we're going to do a steak dinner with some of his mentees that have closed loans with Jet Lending. So if you want to be invited to that steak dinner, all you got to do is close a loan.
Yeah.
Because I cook a hell of a damn good steak. But anyway, so your mentorship program's going great?
Yeah, mentorship's great. Students are really rocking and rolling. And, we're taking advantage of the market and what we can do.
And Ehab is going to Vegas with Jet Lending.
Yeah, we have a little trip plan coming up.
Yeah, we invited Ehab to go with us this year to the Private Lender Conference. And we're going to have a good time over there. So without further ado, I'm going to just turn the floor over to you, and let's just start with number one, and we'll dive right into this.
All right, and make sure you hold me accountable, guys, because I want to make sure I'm telling you the top 10 mistakes, but I also want to make sure I'm telling you action items on how you can avoid them. So if I forget to tell you how to avoid them, Rob, let me know, because I want to make sure I'm giving them actionable things they can do, not just information.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with the first one here. The first mistake that I see a lot of people do is that they only focus on learning the technical skills of real estate investing and not focus on personal growth and mindset, which is actually even more important than just the technical skills. Because here's what's going to happen, guys. You're going to learn the technical skills of calculating after repaired values and managing contractors and finding good deals, negotiation, all those skills that you can learn. And those are what I call technical skills. But what's going to really determine how far you take that, what you apply that to, if you get the confidence to apply that to an apartment complex or a 200-unit apartment complex or 3 flips at a time or whatever it is that's going to allow you to grow and scale, what's going to allow you to take that even further is your mindset. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people get caught up in just trying to learn, buy the books on buying and flipping or on being a landlord, and they don't think about The psychological part of it, right? The mindset part of it. They don't spend enough time growing that. When in reality, what's going to determine how far you go and how far you grow is your mindset. Because we all have the same 24 hours in the day, right? But some people make $50,000 a year with that. Some people make $500,000 a year with that. And some people make $500 million a year with that. Mm-hmm. And so what the difference between how those people spend their time in that 24 hours is in their mindset, right? The people who are making like the lower amounts, they're probably spending that time going to a 9-to-5 job, not really investing a lot, or just tiptoeing the waters of real estate investing. Whereas the people that are making, 500,000, 500 million a year, those people are in the mindset of, I'm going to go after buying big luxury condos, right? Like that might be so far outside of your realm of possibility right now, but your mind, believe it or not, can grow to have that kind of mindset. And there are people out there that do, and that's why they're the ones making the really big bucks.
Absolutely. I had a kid in my office this week. I'm not going to mention his name or embarrass him, but he sat down, very young kid, in his about 24. We sat down for about an hour. I brought Chelsea in. He's a musician, and I told him, I was like, the problem that you have is not with anything else other than you've got to get your mindset right. When you wake up in the morning, you've got to have a goal. And this is what I often talk about. You've got to have a goal during the day to make yourself better than you did the day before. Yeah. And it all starts right here. Like, okay, today in the gym, let's just say in the gym, for instance, that's a mindset, Yeah, that's heavy weight, but if you have a goal to get to, let's say, bench pressing 300 pounds, you've got to work at it till you get to that point, and it all starts with how you approach and how your mindset is set. So what action items should we have?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you reminded me of that. Okay, so the action item is that, besides the books that you're buying and reading about technical skills, you need to be following and listening to people who are talking about mindset. So believe it or not, I like to listen to some spiritual type leaders, some philosophical leaders. I listen to podcasts on around those things. I make sure I follow guys on my Instagram, my Facebook, so that they pop up every single day, some sort of kind of motivation. That's kind of a kick in the pants, right? To make sure I'm thinking bigger. So I follow guys that are bigger and more successful than me, right? So I don't just spend time thinking about just trying to learn the technical details. I spend even more time trying to develop the mindset to think big, right? Because we all know it's just as easy to think big as it is to think small, right? Yes. So that's why I think big. And by the way, I wanna preface this because I forgot to mention that, these are the top 10 mistakes for those of you trying to achieve financial freedom, right? If your goal is only to own 1 or 2 rental properties, then really you don't have to develop yourself to be this big of a person, this successful of a person, to just be able to go out and buy a couple of rental properties throughout your career or do a couple of flips throughout your lifetime. But 95% of the people I talk to who want to join my mentorship program, or who I just talk about real estate investing, they have the dream of being financially free, right? And that's a whole different ballgame. Financial freedom comes when you build a business that's eventually going to replace your job income, and you build a business through real estate. So it's very different from just being somebody who successfully goes out there and flips a house one a year, or owns a few rental properties, because that's pretty easy to do in the grand scheme of trying to as opposed to trying to build a business, right? So that's one right there. The second mistake I notice that people make is that they don't pick a strategy that aligns with their financial goals. Okay. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that I have had people reach out to me and say, I've flipped 3 houses in my lifetime, and I'm like, okay, that's great, and they made money on them. They made $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on those flips. And I would say that you are a successful real estate investor. Anytime you're doing deals and you're making money on it, that's a successful deal. That's a successful real estate investor. However, that strategy doesn't align with your goals if your goal is financial freedom, because flipping 1 house a year and making $30,000 a flip is amazing, but it doesn't lead to financial freedom. Yeah. So the folks out there that own a handful of rental properties that are just, you know, doing a couple of wholesale deals a year, or that are flipping a house a year, you have to understand that those strategies are not wealth building strategies. Those are not going to allow you to achieve,
or what you would call generational wealth.
Generational wealth,
yes.
Right? It's just not going to get you to that goal of building a business and replacing your job income. It's extremely difficult to do that. Those are jobs. Flipping's a job. Wholesaling's a job. They're not wealth building, generational wealth building strategies. And even though you're making money on them, it's not going to allow you to achieve that financial freedom. So if you just stick with that strategy. Now, I'm totally okay with you going out and flipping one house, two houses to build up some cash, but you need to make sure once you have that cash built up, you adjust your strategy in a way that's going to allow you to start building that generational wealth.
Yeah. So I want to go back just for a second, not to get you off key. There's another thing that I do, and you can do it as well. You don't have to be in the military, but there's a lot of motivational military people out there that you can follow, and that they can get you motivated during a given day. I know that we were talking the other day, and you were talking about posting motivational videos and stuff. Yeah. If you want to change your mindset, I'm going to tell you one of the hardest things in the world to do is wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go run in 20-degree weather. But you know, when you get to work, if you've got a good leader that's standing in front of you that gets you motivated and says, "Hey, guys, we're going to go knock this out," and I'm simplifying what they're saying in front of us to motivate us because it's so cold outside. But look, in order for us to do this, we're going to have to take our jackets off. And you're sitting there in t-shirts and shorts in like 30-degree weather. You're like, man, it is going to be cold. But once your body gets moving and you start getting into the rhythm and everybody's out there calling cadence and the height, you don't even pay attention to the cold weather anymore. Yeah. It's the same thing in real estate. Yeah. You know, once you start doing the motions and start advancing yourself and start thinking about, okay, you know, I've done 3 flips or I've done 3 buy and holds. Now I'm fixing to move into multifamily. You're in the motions. You're making it happen. You know, those are the type of things that change your mindset.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So, I'm sorry.
And the action item with that one, then picking the right strategy is to think about what are your goals? What are your financial goals? If your financial goals are to continue work at your job because you love your job and you just want to make an extra $20,000, $30,000 a year flipping a house, well, then that's perfectly okay if that's your strategy. But if your goal is to eventually replace your job income and start making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month in real estate, then you need to make sure your strategy aligns with that. And the strategy that I like to teach to my students is the BRRRR strategy, which is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And actually, there's this new term right now called BRRRR B&B.
BRRRR B&B. I like
it. So not only are you buying and rehabbing properties, but you're refinancing them and you're turning them into short-term rental Airbnbs, which is what I love to do because the cash flow on those is just incredible. And I would highly encourage you to consider that approach if you want to start creating massive cash flow every month.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So when he's talking about Airbnbs, typically you can have them anywhere in the city of Houston.
I mean, across the country.
Across the country, it doesn't matter. Now, some people will say you need to have them strategically placed if you want them to, you know, generate some of the income that is possible. But I will say you've been very successful with this.
Yeah.
Very successful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So all right. So we're on that. We gave an action item.
Yeah,
right?
We gave an action item. Yeah.
So strategy would be BRRRR
B&B.
B&B.
BRRRR B&B. There we go. All right. Let's talk about the third one here. The third mistake that people make is they underestimate how much they really need to learn to really build a real estate business, successful business. They jump into it, you know, and part of the problem is that, you know, the media, the YouTube, it all kind of glamorizes the real estate business without really helping to, you know, to be realistic about how difficult it is and how much there is to learn, you know. So, you know, to become a successful real estate investor, you have to know how to calculate after repair values, do property walkthroughs to check for repairs, manage contractors, find deals, negotiate, talk to realtors and wholesalers, raise money, communicate with lenders, build a team. I mean, there's a lot involved in it. And a lot of people think that they can just dive into this and just do it on their own. And it's really hard to do that. I tell people, I say, imagine your first day on the job, that you show up there and there's, your boss says, you have to do this job and I'm not assigning anybody to help you figure it out. Right? Like figure out how to set up your computer, figure out how to set up your email,
figure out, hey, here's one.
Figure out where the break room is, figure out
how to make the coffee.
Figure out how to do your time card, whatever, like figure it all out on your own, and you have nobody to guide you. It's extremely difficult to do that. And the same applies to real estate investing. It's a complicated business that just has a lot of moving parts, and for the average person just trying to figure it out on their own, it's just extremely difficult. I mean, the chances of success are really low, really low. So don't underestimate how challenging this business is and how many moving parts and how many things you need to know to become successful, because doing it on your own can be really tough.
It can.
Yeah.
So what's the action item for that?
All right. The action item on this is, make sure you surround yourself either with a mentorship group. It could be either a formal mentor or an informal mentor. Like I talked to a girl the other day. She said her uncle is in the business. I said, great. Make sure your uncle is somebody you can go to really help you answer questions or, really guide you. So surround yourself with a community, surround yourself with mentors or, people that can really help you out and give you the right guidance that you need in order to become successful.
So basically what he's saying, simplified, build your team around you. Good lenders, good insurance company, good title company. Most importantly, a good mentor to teach you these things, to get you through the process, especially for new investors out there. If you've got a great mentor, guys, I'm going to tell you this, I'm not just tooting his horn for him, that every single person that I have recommended to go to his program has closed a deal within 2 or 3 months. We talked about this before. Young ladies supposed to have is it a fiveplex?
Yeah, Heather's got a fiveplex.
Yep. She called me in tears after she closed that thing. And Rob, you made this possible. I was like, no, I didn't make anything possible. All I did was communicate to you that this is going to be a good investment. I put you in touch with the right person that was going to put you on the right path to get you to where you needed to be. And that's what this business is all about, building your team.
Yeah. And it's life-changing, right? We're just talking about financial freedom. Financial freedom is just 2 words, right? But financial freedom means so much. It means your life is completely different.
Yes.
There's no way I can describe it in words, but now that I'm living it, I'm experiencing it. I'm experiencing it every day with my schedule. I have a lot of flexibility with my schedule because I have financial freedom. If I want to go to Vegas, I go to Vegas. I know I'm leaving my kids a ton of properties that are going to set them up for life. Financial freedom, it's 2 understated words, but there's so much behind it. And if you knew what comes with that, you'd be all over building your business. All right, let's jump on it because I've calculated it. We've got 10 items and 60 minutes. So we got to knock it.
We can go longer.
6 minutes.
We can go longer.
Okay.
We can go longer.
All right.
If we've got to get through all this, we're going to get through
Let's do it. All right. So number 4 is top 10 mistakes people make is they do not take enough daily action, right? When you're building a business, it requires momentum, and momentum doesn't come from doing things, once a week or, once every other week. It comes when you take daily, consistent, imperfect action. And that's what it takes in order to build a real estate business to create financial freedom. And the thing about it is, like, building a real estate business is like anything else in life that's worth having, right? Like if you want to get, in better physique or better health, that you have to go to the gym. You can't just go to the gym once a week, or you can't just eat healthy once a week. You have to do it every single day, right? And so building a real estate business is no different from that. It requires daily, consistent, imperfect action Just like, you know, trying to become healthy, you might have your cheat days, you might have your one-off days. It's not going to be perfect action, but the culmination of you doing your best and trying to make changes that are positive changes over time are eventually going to lead to results. And you know this too. I mean, you lost 50 pounds?
50 pounds.
50 pounds. I mean, and you know, I'm sure you had a few times before that where you started and stopped and things like that, trying to, you know, lose weight. We all have. I've been on probably 50 diets in my lifetime, trying to lose these last 10 pounds I got here. But, you know, eventually enough becomes enough. And you start taking action day one. And then, you know what, day two comes, you're like, I'm gonna eat healthy again today. And then day 3 and 4, and then it turns into a habit. And then just like that, you're taking daily consistent action, which eventually turns into habits, which eventually leads to your mindset changing. And just like that, it becomes your new adopted lifestyle.
It does. And I'll give you one thing, for instance. Health.
Mm-hmm.
You start with one thing in your life,
yeah,
and you change it, and it changes you, and it changes your mindset. Then you start focusing in on another thing as well. Okay, so you may not even start in real estate. You may start with, you know what, I want to lose that 50 pounds, you know, and then once your mindset changes, okay, this is what I've got to do daily to stay healthy, not just to lose the weight and go back up. Then it changed. I'm telling you, it's doing it to me right now. I've sat down with my wife and I said, look, we're stagnant right now as far as our financial growth. Mm-hmm. Yes, I make a good living at jet lending. Yes, you make a good living at being a dental hygienist. But we've got to start making other steps for generational wealth, so our kids don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
And we talked, like I said, we talked about that yesterday. But once one mindset changes, it's going to change your whole entire outlook on how you approach your life on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what action items do we need for?
Yeah, that's you know, and I keep forgetting to say those. I'm glad you keep reminding me.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. You know, you have to be okay with taking massive daily imperfect action. And the best way to do that is to make sure you schedule these activities in your calendar, right? So if you're just leaving it up to chance and you say, you know what, when I get home from work today, I'm going to go on har.com and I'm going to look at properties and, you know, kind of see what's happening and maybe make an offer, right? If you just leave it up to chance, then when you get home from work, and your kids or your wife or your girlfriend or your husband start talking to you, and you know you get distracted, and then you know the Astros are playing and you're watching them, and it's time to eat dinner, and then before you know it, wow, you're tired, you're ready to go to bed, you know, then you're not going to take action that day. So you have to schedule it in your day to say, you know what, 6 a.m. I'm waking up, 6 to 6:10, I'm going to meditate. 6:10 to 6:45, I'm going to get a workout in. 6:45, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go to work. When I get home at, you know, 6 p.m., I'm going to spend I have it on my calendar, 30 minutes to go on the MLS, look at properties. I'm going to make, you know, one offer today, every day, Monday through Friday, or, you know, maybe you're going to do a lot of this on the weekends because you have busy schedules during the week, but putting it on your calendar and scheduling it is the key to making sure you're taking this action versus just leaving it up to chance and saying, you know, I'm just going to, you know, do it when I get home and then it never gets done.
Yeah.
All right.
And another thing on top of that,
yeah,
you make a calendar, that's a plan. Now, if your plan goes haywire, that doesn't mean that your whole week goes haywire.
Yeah.
You try to get back on track. Yeah, okay, this happened, right? And a significant, what I'd like to call a significant emotional event.
Yeah.
Happened. It throws you off track. Sometimes it happens in life. You get a flat tire. You get a sick baby. You got to go and take care of. You've got, you know, life events. You've got to, hey, you get sick. That doesn't mean that you lose total focus on that calendar or that plan that you have. You may have some drawbacks in any aspect of it, but it's refocusing and saying, okay, I got off track here. This derailed me. I've got to focus and get back on this path.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to set realistic expectations, right? Yeah. When you are first getting started in this business, things are not gonna. It's gonna be difficult to be consistent. Things are gonna happen. Life's gonna take prioritization, and your schedule may change. But if you have it on your calendar, on your phone calendar, and a reminder is popping up, and you missed it that day, but that reminder pops up again the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, eventually you're going to start taking consistent action. It's going to become a habit, and then it becomes more natural, more part of your regular life workflow, to where, this becomes your new normal. And that's really what happens when you do this consistently over time.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about number 5 here, which is a big mistake I noticed that people make. And I was reminded of this when I had a call with a lady the other day, is that they pick a strategy that's so slow that they run out of money or momentum, and it doesn't allow them to achieve financial freedom. And I'll give you an example. I talked to a lady the other day who was interested in my mentorship program. And, I asked her, I said, tell me a little bit about yourself. And she said, well, I have 20 rental houses.
Wow.
That she'd been acquiring over the last 6 years. And I said, that's amazing. How can I help you? What can I do for you? Then the problem was that, the typical long-term rental, single family home, after you pay off your taxes and your mortgage and your interest and your maintenance expenses, and then you have vacancy and you have things that happen, they're only making a couple $100 a month, right? And so 20 rental houses sounds like a lot, but as long-term rentals, that's only about $4,000 in profit a month. And that took a lot of money in down payments and things to be able to acquire that. So over 6 years of acquiring all those properties, she still was at a point where she hadn't achieved financial freedom. She put in a lot of work and a lot of money, and it just started to lend itself to a point where it's like, this business is not happening. This freedom is not happening. And, you start running out of momentum and running out of steam and running out of money, which, cash is king in this business. So
it is. Cash is king.
Yeah. So, the lesson that came out of that, I realized, is that you really have 2 options when it comes to, acquiring property and achieving financial freedom. Option number 1 is to get to a place where you own a lot of property, and they're all long-term rentals, and they're making just a little bit of money every month, but it's a long, slow road, and it takes a lot of money to get there, right? That's owning a lot of properties. Option number 2, which is what I love to teach, is taking properties and turning them into those short-term rental Airbnbs, which allow you to make a lot more money on them, which means that you can get to your financial freedom goals a lot faster. So imagine you have a property that can make you $500 a month profit, or that same property can make you $5,000 a month profit, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm talking about. I have a duplex right now that it has a pool in it, and a lot of people might have seen it on my Instagram. But that property, if I were to rent it as a long-term rental, would make about $1,000 a month profit. On the flip side, though, because I run it as a short-term rental Airbnb, that property makes me anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000 a month profit. So it's the same property, but what I've done differently is I've changed the way it's being used from a long-term rental to a short-term rental. And now instead of making $1,000, it makes $6,000 to $9,000 a month. And that is allowing me to get to my financial freedom number even faster.
Yes.
And that's the real key, right? Is like, figure out how to make more money on the same property, and you'll be able to do less deals to get to your financial freedom goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The action, and that is really the action items. Take a look at the properties you have, if you have properties, or make sure when you're buying properties, you're maximizing the return that they can make. Which in my opinion is short-term rental Airbnbs.
So she had how many? 15?
She had 21 properties. Yeah.
So basically what she should do, and I'm just asking you, is that she should probably evaluate some of those 21, maybe take some of her nicer ones out of her inventory and say, these are strategically placed in Houston. I'm going to turn these into Airbnbs.
Yeah, actually, when I talked to her, several of her properties, she likes to invest in Galveston, so several of her properties are in Galveston.
Shit.
And I was like,
what the hell is she doing?
Take a look at those and see if you can turn those into beach houses, right? And Airbnbs. Several of my students are investing in Galveston right now. They love it.
Shout out to Alberto.
Shout out to Sarah, who's got a beach house in Surfside. Lots of new people. Stephanie, she's got properties in Galveston. So, I mean, a lot of people investing in that area.
Yes.
So,
yes. Anthony.
Anthony just bought one. Yeah. Anthony just closed on one with you, and it's going to rehab it. This is his first deal. He just joined my mentorship program. I mean, he got a deal super fast.
Yes.
So
he's doing great things.
Yeah. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was number 6. Number 7. All right, number 7. Big mistake you're making is you're underestimating the value of networking. Right. This is one of those things that it doesn't show up on your radar as being important to build a real estate business or an important trait or quality to have as a real estate investor, but networking is so critical.
Building relationships.
And I tell you, like, you know, I'm right now, I'm remodeling a 16-unit apartment complex that I'm going to turn to Airbnb. It's going to be making close to $50,000 a month in just that one property alone as a short-term rental Airbnb. And the way I purchased that property was I had a realtor who I met, I stayed in contact with, we actually kind of became friends. And he just called me up one day and said, hey, I got this property here. It's right near the museum district. Would you be interested in buying it? It's been on the market, but I want to give you first dibs at it because I know you, I trust you, I know you're the real deal. And, you know, I like working with you. I mean, bottom line. And I said, I looked at the numbers, I crunched them, I made an offer, he came back and we got the deal done. Mm-hmm. And it all came from just having him in my network.
Yeah.
Same thing with the jet lending events I go to. I went to one a few months back. I met a wholesaler there. He actually gave me a deal that he was looking to sell. I gave that to one of my students, and she has that property under contract. You know, do you remember what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? This was at this is when I met him at Kirby Ice House off I-10 in Gessner.
No.
That wholesaler over there, yeah.
Which property is it?
It's in it's near the Ship Channel area. Okay. So I have to try and remember what it's called over there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's over there. Deer Park.
Oh, yes.
Deer Park, yeah.
Yes, I know where Deer Park is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so that was just a deal I got from going to a network jet lending networking event, and I picked up a deal, and actually I gave it to one of my students, but picked up a deal.
You heard that right? People close deals at our events.
Yeah.
Every single month.
Yeah.
That I get a notification somehow, some way. Man, I appreciate the invite. I actually met a wholesaler there. I'm going to look at the property tomorrow. Hey, Rob, I got it under contract. Let's get this deal closed.
Yeah.
Happens every month.
Yeah. Even the one last Wednesday, I sat down with a wholesaler, just randomly met him in the food line. His name is JR, and he's got a wholesaling business. And, you know, I was talking to him.
JR Ewing?
Yeah.
From Dallas?
No, he's a Houston guy, I think.
JR Ewing?
I
didn't mean to throw you off track.
You did throw me off track there.
I'm sorry.
And I'll tell you, it was really interesting. I said to him, you know, asking what his company was, and I didn't remember getting his emails because I get a lot of wholesale emails. And he said to me, that's because a lot of my properties never make it out to email. I sell them to a small group of pocket investors before I even email them out. And I was like, well, hey, let's exchange information. I would like to be one of those pocket investors, or my students can be those pocket investors, because I got 50 students who are looking for deals.
Yeah.
And just like that, you know, I made a contact with somebody, and, you know, I'm trying to get on their short list, right, of investors that they work with. So just networking is so critical. And it's an important part of building any business. No matter what industry you're in, you got to network, and you've got to have the right people around you.
You got to build those relationships.
Yeah. So the action item on this one, pretty simple, right? Like, I know you come home from work, you rather just relax. You don't want to drive all the way out to, you know, 59 North where Stampede is, or, you know, the whatever networking events are. But, you know, I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I do it. And you got to make the time to go to networking events, or to network with realtors or wholesalers, go to coffee with them, take them to lunch, build a personal relationship with people, because you're not going to get very far just sitting behind your computer or sitting at your desk or coming home and watching TV.
Why would I want to do business with somebody I don't know?
Right. I mean, people want to work with people that they like, period. Yep. Even if you're offering them less than what the next person can offer them on a property, if they like working with you and they trust you, they're going to sell it to you, right? And it's not always about who's paying the highest amount. It's about, who do I like to work with?
Yeah.
So
who do I like to work with?
So
who's going to take care of me?
Yeah.
Who's going to treat me like family?
Yeah.
Who's going to treat me like a friend?
Right. Exactly. So schedule the time to go network. When you get those emails about networking events, don't skip out on them. Go to them. I actually got on my students the other day because I posted the jet lending networking event. Nobody showed up from my group. And I said, guys, you're missing the point if you're not going to these networking events. You know, I'm not just telling you to go just to get the free, you know, I think you guys had some good barbecue chicken last time. And but you had an economist talking about the future of real estate. There was a bunch of people there that were
the economy as a whole.
Economy as a whole, right? So, I mean, important information if you're really serious about building a business.
Yes.
So, all right, cool, man. Let's talk about the next mistake, which is
the action item. Just to recap,
yeah,
on that would be you need to go to more real estate events, even though they don't have them. If they have them online, if they have them networking event, try to go to it. I mean, at one time in Houston, you could go to one every single night if you wanted to.
You could.
Now, I'm not telling you go to every single one, but you definitely need to come to the super investor meeting.
And look, I love the super investor meeting, but networking also means, like I said, going and meeting realtors for lunch and wholesalers, and not just any realtors, guys, realtors who have properties in the areas that you're looking to buy. Yep. So if you're following my strategy and you're investing in areas that have fixer-upper properties, go on the MLS, look and see what realtors have properties listed there. If you find a realtor that has 2, 3, 4 properties listed there, that's a realtor that has access to that area and is getting leads there, and you want to take them to lunch or coffee and say, hey, I've noticed you have 4 properties for sale in the X area, 3rd Ward area, East End area, whatever it might be. And I want to let you know that I'm an investor. I'm really serious. I'm looking for a deal. I want to buy something in the next 30 days. I would love if you would give me the opportunity to buy that property, maybe even before you have a chance to put it online. But I'd love to be able to work with you and do a deal with you. And that's what I'm talking about, building those relationships, taking those personal one-on-one relationships, coffee, lunch, all that as well. All right, cool. Let's talk about the next item here, which is big mistake real estate investors make on the path to financial freedom is they haven't taken the time to develop their why. Right. I know this is
whoa.
Again.
Hold on. We're getting deep.
I'm getting deep. I'm telling you.
We're getting real deep.
Let
me uncross my legs because I got to get some circulation on this one.
Oprah Super Soul Sundays that I watch have really paid off.
They are. We may have to go about 1:30 on this.
An hour 30. Well, we'll try to keep it. We'll try to keep it to the hour here.
Oh, but, Lord.
Look, here's the deal. You know, this is a tough business, right? And you are going to face challenges trying to navigate your path to financial freedom, trying to build this business. And, you know, the first important thing to know is that there's no business out there that you can build that doesn't have challenges, right? So when you face challenges in real estate investing and it upsets you that day, just remember that you're gonna face challenges no matter what business you build, whether it's opening up a restaurant or a gym or a software company, whatever it might be. There are going to be challenges building that business. So if you're not up for challenges, then you're just not up for building a business in general, right? But getting through those challenges, being able to overcome those come from having a strong why, having a strong reason. So when you face those challenges, that obstacle that day, that contractor who upset you or who didn't follow through, or that tenant who didn't pay rent that month, or whatever the challenge might be, you have to have a strong why that lets you overcome that, keeps things in perspective, and allows you to keep driving forward because you have such a strong reason why it's critical that you succeed in this business. And I can tell you that just wanting to make some extra money is probably not a strong enough why, right? Like, you've got to really take the time to think about, why are you getting in this business? Why is building a successful real estate business important to you? Why is financial freedom important to you? What are you going to gain out of that? Who are you going to be able to help by building that business? Are you going to be able to help your parents out more? Are you going to be able to leave your kids things in the future that's going to keep paying them forward in perpetuity? Are you going to be able to help your sick grandparents out? Like, the stronger your why, the farther you'll go, right? If you want to end hunger in your city, you got to make a lot of money. You got to be really successful. So the bigger your why, the bigger your business has to grow, right? And so that's something to keep in mind, that Don't overlook that. Don't just jump into this business and start buying and owning property. Start with your why. Start thinking about why is it so important, and then start building your business around making that why happen.
You know, I'm gonna go into this just a little bit more.
Okay.
There's statistics out there, and I learned this as a recruiter. I think everybody has a path. And when I was on recruiting detail, we'd have people come in and talk to us about the psychological aspect of joining the Army, and you've got to find out the why somebody would want to join the Army, or what their lifelong goals are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are true statistics. The average male does not figure out what he wants to do with his life till about 35 years of age.
Wow. Yeah, it took me till 40 to figure it out.
35 years of age. That's the average. The average male. Females, usually by the age of 30.
They're smarter than us.
Yes. Now these statistics are about 10 years old, so please forgive me if they're maybe a little bit wrong. But imagine going through your 20s and half of your 30s and wake up one day and say, I've been doing this job for almost 15 years and I can't stand it. If you can honestly figure out who you are, and I know that's a very broad term, figuring out who you are as early on as you can and what you're passionate about will help you tenfold when you get into your mid 30s, because you're advancing yourself. Now, trying to sit down and talk to a 20-year-old about who they are,
yeah,
is almost nearly impossible.
Right.
Sitting down and talking to a 30-year-old about who they are, you're kind of going through that. Maybe you can reach them, but once you start getting mid 30s, 40s, your life starts to change. And you've got different goals, you've got different aspects. Hell, I'm 45 years old, and I've got different goals than I was at 35.
Yeah.
More advanced goals. But he's absolutely right. The why, figuring out who and why you are here or what you want to do, it's very important to figure out as fast as possible. Time is the only commodity we don't have more of.
Right. And you're right. Like, my goals when I was in my 20s starting real estate investing were about having a nice car and being able to buy fancy things. My goals now in my 40s with real estate investing is just trying to get time back.
Yes.
Right? Just trying to get freedom back.
Yes. That time that you not wasted, but the time that
is time that we have left on this earth, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, you can either spend that time working a 9-to-5 job every day, or if you're lucky enough to build this business and achieve the financial freedom goal, you could spend that time to the maximum, vacationing, traveling. I love to play tennis, so today at 2:00 I'm going to play tennis with a buddy of mine. You don't have that kind of freedom when you have the job, right? So that's what getting time back's all about.
And I'm so glad you brought this subject up. That hey, the why is most important.
Yeah.
But the who you are is also just as important.
Right.
You got to figure out who you are before you can figure out the why.
Yeah. So the action item with this one, guys, is to take the time to think about your why you're doing this, why it's so critical that you succeed in this business. Take that time before you really even dive in, or if you're already in the business, take that time now. And this is what you need to do. You need to write it down on paper, and you need to start thinking about, create a few different categories, right? First category is, why is it important that you build this business and succeed, right? Second category is, once you're successful, what are you going to do? Who are you going to be able to help with your finances, your freedom that you create, the financial security you create? Who are you going to be able to help and impact with that financial security? That's the second category. Third category would be like, what are you going to do for yourself once you're financially free, right? So it's why is it important? Who are you going to help? How are you going to help yourself? Break down these three different categories. And then I would even say the fourth category would be like, what contribution can you make to this world or to your community once you're financially successful, right? So the bigger your why, the bigger you can believe and think, the bigger your business has to grow. So if you have really big dreams of ending hunger in your city, or ending hunger in your state, or even in the world, right? Or helping children in need, or things like that are really big whys that really require a lot of money, a lot of capital, then that will drive you to build an even bigger business, because the more money you make, the more you can give, right? So think about that and take the time to write down your why and look at those goals every single day to keep you motivated. And definitely make sure you're looking at them whenever you're feeling down, or you're feeling like you can't move forward with the business, or a little bit defeated. Look at your why and use those to drive you through your journey. All right, I got 3 more here. So let's talk about number 8.
We're on number 8?
Yeah, we're on number 8.
Okay.
Got 8, 9, and 10 left.
What was 7?
7 was the not taking the time to develop your why.
Okay.
All right.
8. You got 11?
No, I got 10.
Oh.
8, 9, and 10.
8, 9. Okay.
Yeah, 3 more.
All
right. We got the math worked out.
Hey, I never said I was good at math. I'm just kidding.
Aren't you a lender?
That's what I said. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty good at math.
He's good at math. He definitely knows 70%.
Yes.
All right. Number 8. Big mistake people make in trying to build this business is they don't have a team or a community they can lean on. All right. So, I mean, there's, people don't realize that, but being a real estate investor, that sounds like a very, single term, right? Solopreneur term. But a successful, and that's what's misleading, right? When that's why people don't succeed. That's the mistake people make, is that being a real estate investor requires having a team around you of people that are smarter than you, more successful than you, that can complement your weaknesses, all those things that you need in order to build a business and grow, right? Because there's no business that runs by itself, runs just by one person, right? Alone. All businesses have either employees, mentors, board of directors, a whole team, a whole community around it to make it successful. So if you think that you're going to go into this alone without having a successful team, then that's going to be a huge mistake on your part, and it's going to limit how far you grow, right? So you need lenders on your team, general contractors, appraisers, title companies, peers that you can ask questions on, leadership, mentors. Who are the people? Who are the people that you need? I'm just thinking of all the different people that you need on your team. Appraisers,
insurance companies, title companies. Those are the biggest thing. A competent real estate agent, if you choose to use one. Mentors,
wholesalers,
general contractors.
Building
those relationships, because there's bad ones and there's good ones out there, people. That's probably the biggest ones, is building a relationship with a general contractor you can trust.
Yeah, because I can tell you, I literally had a call this morning with somebody that I used to work with back in my corporate America days, and she's trying to sell a property because she had a general contractor kind of do her wrong and take money from her. And this was even a contractor that was recommended to her by a reputable wholesaler here. Definitely make sure you have good general contractors on your team. So don't go into this alone. You can't go into it alone. And if you try to go at it alone, you're only going to go so far, right? You're going to go as far as the quality team that you have around you. So if you have advisors that can advise you on how to buy apartment complexes, 200, 300 unit apartment complexes, and you have the financial lenders or private lenders to help you do that, or a hard money lender to let you do that, and you have appraisers and contractors, then your ability to go buy 200, 300 unit apartment complexes are a lot more viable, right? But if you don't have that on your team, and all you have is somebody that can help you buy, let's say, a single family home, which is okay, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but my point is that you're only going to grow as far as the team around you.
Yes.
Right? So if you've got these people, these contacts, you're going to be able to grow even further.
Sometimes even in this real estate journey, you have to leave people behind. Not in a negative aspect, but you outgrow them.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes unfortunate. But one thing I will say is if you have to leave those people behind, you should do it in a tactful way.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm growing. You don't, especially like, real estate agents. Some can handle commercial and some specialize in single family. If you grow to multifamily properties, you're going to be dealing more with a commercial real estate agent to find you multifamily properties.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not necessarily saying that it's a bad thing, but sometimes you leave those people and you have to grow your business and grow the way that you handle your business. You just got to make sure you do it in a tactful way.
Yeah. Yeah. So the action item on this one is, and this is what I include in my program is, you have to create a dream team, right? So get out a piece of paper or put together an Excel document and start creating categories for all the people that you need in order to help you become successful. So make a category for a realtor to bring you leads, wholesalers, appraisers, lenders, hard money, short-term lenders, long-term lenders, right? General contractors, subcontractors, all the different people that you need in order to help you become successful, inspectors, and start filling in that list. Who's going to be your hard money lender? Jet Lending, Rob over here. Who's going to be your long-term lender? I know Jet does long-term loans too. Who's going to be your inspector, your general contractor, your realtor to bring you leads, your wholesaler? Start filling in those names. You can have, several realtors, several wholesalers bring you leads, but start building your team because they are going to be critical and instrumental in your success.
Okay.
That's the action item. All right. Let's talk about number 9 here. Number 9 mistake that people make is that they think YouTube or podcasts are going to teach them everything that they need to know, and they don't necessarily need a mentor, right? Big mistake, because I learned this the hard way when I started hiring mentors myself, is that there's a big difference between information and instruction. And when you watch a YouTube video on somebody talking about the BRRRR strategy or how to rehab a property, or you listen to a podcast about somebody talking about some topic in real estate, you're getting information from that, right? And information is not actionable, right? In order you to become successful as a real estate investor, you need actionable tasks to do, and that is instruction, and that's very different from information. So
I run a podcast, and I'd say you still need a mentor.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people, again, I know this because I have people call me that are interested in my mentorship program, and they say, I've read books, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, but I just don't know what the next step is, what to do, right? And I say, well, yeah, you don't know because you've gotten a lot of information, but you haven't gotten instruction. And instruction is what you need in order to be actionable. Okay. So keep that in mind. When you are watching those things or reading books, you're getting information, which is good. But at the end of the day, to actually take action, you need to have instruction. And instruction comes, the best way that I found instruction to come is through mentorships. My whole real estate investing changed when I hired my first mentor. And it wasn't even because I hired a mentor to teach me what I do today. My first mentor was a wholesaling mentor, and I don't do any wholesaling today. But what came out of that mentorship was that I learned how to start taking action. I learned how to start looking for deals, how to start analyzing deals. And I started getting kind of step-by-step instruction, which allowed me to have enough information to actually take action. And that was the key, because just taking action, even though it was massive imperfect action, it's not what I do today, it was still enough to start getting me getting some traction, getting a few wholesale deals going, which helped boost my confidence, and then ultimately allowed me to pivot my strategy into what I'm doing today, which is buying and holding and BRRRRing, and then eventually short-term rentals. So understand the difference. There's information and there's instruction. And the action item that I want you to take out of this is I want you to understand the difference between those two categories, information and instruction. And I want you to really think about, do you have the right mentor or the right guidance or the right instruction for you to be taking daily action in order to start moving towards your goal? All right. So that's the key action item. Are you gonna make it?
Yes. Excuse me.
Good. All right. You're heading out.
No.
Go get water.
I need water.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep going here because we got 6 minutes. All right. So that was mistake number 9. Here's mistake number 10 here, and this is important here. That the big mistake number 10 that people make is that they don't understand that success requires discipline, and that the more you practice discipline throughout your life, the better that will make you as an investor.
True.
All right. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, there are other things you can do outside of real estate investing that will help you become a better real estate investor. One of my most successful students, my most successful student, Alberto, you know what his hobby is?
Running.
Ultra marathon running.
Yeah, right.
If you think that training to run 50 to 100 miles is not building up discipline, well, I mean, then that's that's a total discipline builder.
Oh yes.
And he has to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, get his runs in before he goes to work, which he has an IT job, a regular job. And that habit of discipline in ultra marathon training has translated into him becoming a successful investor because he's disciplined with real estate too, making offers, looking at properties, talking to realtors, networking.
His mindset is
Yeah. So same thing with Heather. She runs every morning. Same thing with Sarah. Sarah makes Instagram videos, workout Instagram videos, and she was 9 months pregnant.
You know what's funny is there's a direct correlation to real estate and exercise.
Yeah, there is.
With every one of your successful mentees.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Because it builds this. One, it gets your blood pumping, your mind in the right place in the morning to really start your day. 2, it's a practice of discipline, right? Same thing with just healthy eating. Anything that you can do, or meditation, or yoga, or anything that you can do to practice discipline in any aspect of your life, even if it's you tell yourself, I'm gonna read 10 minutes of a book every day, right? That's a practice of discipline, right? Mm-hmm. Anytime you can tell yourself that you're gonna do something and you hold yourself accountable to doing it every single day, you have practiced discipline, and that's going to help you become a better real estate investor too.
Absolutely. Yeah. What have I told you before? This is the one thing that most people don't realize. Motivation is a liar.
Yeah.
Because it's not always there. When you wake up in the morning, motivation is not there. There's times during you have a significant emotional event, it will unmotivate you. It's discipline that's always there that keeps you on track, and then motivation will come and go.
Yeah. And so, again, the big mistake is that people are not realizing that when you don't practice discipline in other parts of your life, you're not going to be able to practice discipline in real estate investing. So if you want to become a better real estate investor, and you build a successful real estate business, practice discipline in all aspects of your life, because you're not going to be able to just flip a switch when it comes to real estate, right? And you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to skip going to the gym, skip eating healthy, skip all these other things. But you know what, when it comes to real estate investing, I'm going to be disciplined, do it every single day. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. You have to be disciplined in all aspects of your life, and you'll be disciplined in real estate as well.
Exactly.
So don't neglect the other things in life, because you're sabotaging your real estate career too. All right. And these are 10 mistakes that people are making that they don't realize that they're making it. Again, when people think about real estate investing mistakes, they think about overpaying for a property, or paying a contractor too much money and they steal your money. But those are just kind of the obvious mistakes. These we talked about today are the top 10 mistakes I think people may not even realize that they're making.
Yeah.
And you've got to know you're making these. These are the kind of the hidden ones that are sabotaging your career that you don't even realize that you're making, because when you start fixing these, you'll see that all these other things around your real estate business will start growing and being fixed as well.
Just to recap, out of every one of those that you listed, I'd say the top 2, these are not listed in any specific order, but I'm assuming But I would say the top two are one, growing your team.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm going to say mindset first. Making sure you have the right mindset.
Yep.
Knowing your why and growing your team. Those are my top three.
Those are your top three? Okay.
That I would say that would, if you were to take anything out of that top 10, you should pay attention to all three, but all 10, but the top three are those.
Yeah, those are definitely critical. I would say, I think those are important. I think the other one that's really a big mistake is not taking daily imperfect action.
Mhm.
I think people just don't realize that, making one offer a week or opening up MLS and looking once a week it's just not going to get it done.
Yeah, you've got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Consistent. And I'm going to tell you something else. You got to commit to your journey.
Yeah.
You've got to commit. If you are just half-assing, that's such a powerful word. If you're half-assing your life or half-assing any aspect of it, and this is not to point fingers at you and say you're not doing it the right way, but if you're half-assing it, you're going to continue to half-ass it. You've got to commit. You've got to put everything in to your real estate journey, your fitness journey, your marriage. You've got to do all that stuff. Your time with your kids, you got to commit, and you've got to make sure that you're nurturing all those and balancing them to ensure that you're growing yourself daily.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is committing to doing it.
Yeah. And I'll say, I heard this really good expression. It says the person that got you to where you are today is not the same person that's going to get you to where you are going to go in the future.
Yes.
I mean, it's great that you love yourself, but know that you have got to grow. If you want to change your outcome, right, you've got to change, who you are into somebody bigger and better. Yep. I think T.R. Becker says, if you want to change the fruits, you have to start with the roots.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
or my favorite, Matthew McConaughey. I'm chasing the guy 5 years from now.
There you go. Matthew
McConaughey. All right. So, when he gave that speech when he won his first, Academy Award, he said, I'm never going to be my hero. He said, I'm chasing the guy 5 years from now.
Yeah.
And it's a great analogy. You can go watch it on YouTube if you want, but he's always talking about it. I'm never going to be that guy that's 5 years from now. As long as you're chasing an impossible dream that you think is impossible, chase your future you.
Yeah.
Try to get to where you want to be 5 years from now as soon as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Ehab, this is probably one of the best podcasts. It's always great when you come on. It is.
Man, I'm glad. I wanted to really bring it. I know this was episode number 20. I wanted to bring really 10 important things I think are overlooked and what to do about them. So yeah. I gave you guys actionable, content as well. Mm-hmm. So go back, rewatch this podcast. That's the beauty of having these things recorded is you're not going to absorb all this information from watching it one time. Go back, watch it over and over again. If you're having a slump day, go back and watch this podcast or any of the other podcasts. That's what you need to stay motivated and to keep going.
Or even better, how can they contact you?
Oh, yeah. Follow me on Rehab with Ehab. That's my Instagram. If you're interested in mentorship, there's a link in my bio that allows you to schedule a free 45-minute call with me. Let's talk about what are your goals. I'll tell you about my mentorship program. If we're the right fit and we feel like we can help each other out and I can help you become successful, I'll invite you to join the mentorship program. If if it's not the right thing for you, then if anything, you just get a good conversation with me. I can help kind of put you on the right track. And, I wish you the best of success.
Yeah. Guys, join his mentorship program. I'm telling you to. Okay. If you're watching this, give him a call, join his mentorship program, because I'm going to tell you this right now. You will be on your path to being a successful real estate investor, and you will be on your path to financial freedom by joining his mentorship group. Right. Because we're going to work together as a team to ensure that you're taken care of. That's all the time we have today for Triggerpoints, episode 20. Great episode.
Yeah.
Great episode. I appreciate you coming on. I'm glad that you were long-winded because my throat. I think I talked way too much the other night. I was jumping around talking to everybody at our event, and my voice is slowly coming back. But again, I appreciate it, my friend.
Here, man. Appreciate you.
We'll see you next week. I know I said that it was going to be from 3 to 4, but he had a scheduling conflict, so we did it at the normal time. We're going to try to get back on the 3 to 4 schedule because it's later in the day, and it's a little bit easier for people to get here from 3 to 4. So next week, stay tuned for who our guest is going to be. Thank you, guys, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Ehab.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
All right, we are out here at Jet Lending Studios.